Subrahmanian has been a Toastmaster for 12 years now. She was a part of the first TMI University chapter in India, charter member and VPPR. After her graduation, she moved back to Dubai and joined Kanoo Toastmasters. Sandhya has served as a secretary, VPPR and the president. Earlier this year, she started a new corporate club at work and currently serves as the president. Sandhya has reached DTAC in 2018 for evaluation and table topics and reached area and division level several times in international speech contest, evaluations and table topics. She has achieved Advanced Communication Bronze and Competent Leader Award from Toastmasters International. She has recently kick-started her Pathways journey and hopes to achieve the DTAC milestone someday.
Welcome to the 9th episode of The Positive Media. Today, we are privileged here with the presence of TM Sandhya, a well-known Toastmaster, homemaker and trainer in the UAE. Hi ma'am.
Hello.
Welcome to Positive Media.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, how long have you been in the UAE?
Good question. So, I've been in the UAE for the last 26 years. I pretty much grew up here. I was born in India, but when I was quite young, around 6 years old, I came to Dubai and I've been here ever since. Small break in between where I went to India to do my higher studies, but yes, otherwise a complete Dubai kid.
That's like a lot. Now, out of these many years, you've been in the UAE for 26 years. So, when was your best living experience?
Now, I have to say the 90s because I'm a 90s child. So, why 90s? Because those were simpler times. Dubai was a smaller place, lesser number of people, lesser number of schools, in fact. I think those were glorious days of Dubai as well. I can just recall the times where I used to go rollerblading across the streets of Dubai, used to play cricket, football and other sports in the streets of Dubai. Something that I don't know if you kids are able to do today, right? So absolutely, I think for me, my glory days in Dubai were in the 90s.
So could you please narrate a bit about your family and your village in Kerala?
All right, so I actually come originally from a place called Palakkad in Kerala. But I was not born there. I barely ever visited Palakkad in my entire life. I grew up in Delhi and afterwards I came here to Dubai. My parents are actually from Kerala, but dad grew up in Calicut, mom grew up in Chennai, which is in Tamil Nadu. So yes, I come from Kerala, but I don't speak Malayalam. I speak Tamil, and I speak Tamil with a bit of a Malayalam touch. So when anyone asks me where I am from in India, I always confuse them with all of this because I cannot tell them, are you Malayali, are you Keralite, are you a Tamilian? So to put it very simply, yes, I come from the southern part of India and I speak Tamil. You asked me a little bit more about my family, right? So I live here now with my husband, who I'm married to for the last 5 years. I also have my parents here. They are still in Dubai. I also have my in-laws here. So my whole family is here basically. So for me, home is Dubai.
Yeah. So you have been advocating the values of Toastmasters on a wide canvas for pretty much of a long time. So what is your advice to my fellow Gavaliers who has aspirations of becoming a public speaker?
So just 3 things. What I'd say is learn to communicate, to be able to listen, and therefore to be able to lead. Through the medium of Toastmasters, this is what I have been able to learn, to express my thoughts and my views and my opinions when the time and the moment is right. Because a lot of the times, as young children, as all of you are, you may hesitate to put forward your points. You may hesitate to communicate what you're actually feeling, and you may want to accept the opinion that everybody else has. But use this medium to come up here and to communicate what you truly feel. Next, learn to listen to others. Because a lot of times we are quick to comment on others. We're quick to give advice to other people, but we fail to listen. So listen as well. And when you can communicate well and listen well, then definitely you will be able to lead better.
So ma'am, you have been in the UAE for the past 26 years. So how long have you been in the Toastmasters?
So I've been a Toastmaster for 12 years now. When I was around 19 years old, I basically started a university chapter. It was in the southern part of India called VIT University. That's the university that I went to. So we had heard about Toastmasters because there was this general need to improve public speaking skills, a general need to want to improve communication skills, right? And we'd heard about Toastmasters, so a few of us went up to our dean in the university and said, can we start a Toastmasters club in our university? And we were asked to find all the details for it, so we wrote to Toastmasters in the US and we asked them whether, you know, above 18 years old, are we able to start a chapter that's not a corporate chapter, so not a part of any, you know, corporate company, but at a university level? And they said, yes, definitely you can. And so we started that. So that was very exciting. Once I finished university, came back to Dubai, then I happened to know that there's a Toastmasters club running in the building right across from where I stayed, which was the Kanoo Toastmasters club. And I joined there. And I'm still a member of that club. That was in 2009. So it's actually 10 years today since I joined Toastmasters in Dubai. Recently, as you saw from my intro, I started a corporate club in where I work today as well. So I'm a dual member today of both Kanoo Toastmasters Club and Etna Dubai Toastmasters Club, which is where I work.
So what do you have to say about the evolution of Toastmasters in the UAE? So you have been here from 2009. So what is the evolution that you see that in 2009 and now 2019?
Okay, that's a very good question. Definitely quite a bit. So when I joined Toastmasters, I don't remember there being so many different clubs, so many members, and I think a general awareness that public speaking is an important skill to be had. People used to think of Toastmasters and they thought of it to be very academic. Like, you know, you go to school, you go to tuitions, and then you go to Toastmasters. So that's what I remember, you know, the perception of Toastmasters to be at that time. So when I went to these area contests or division contests, there weren't as many people, and therefore I don't remember there being those many clubs and so many members. And I think over a period of time, that's what I have seen. The general interest around a concept like Toastmasters to go out there, you know, address the fact that you need to improve your communication skills, which is a very important skill in this world, right? A lot of us kids, you know, younger back then, we think we get good marks in school, we pass our examinations, 95% grade, get a bachelor's degree, and we'll get the best job in the world. But actually, the trend now is, irrespective of what your academic skills are, if you do not know how to communicate well, then how do you go past, you know, that interview at work? So I think that awareness has come in today. So that's what I see as an evolution. I've also seen some changes. So apart from the regular club contests that happen every year, debate contests have now started happening for the last 2 to 3 years, which is very exciting as well, something very nice. So these are the changes that I've seen.
Debate is just like, you don't need to fight for something, but then you can argue in a competition.
Exactly right. You are actually given a podium to argue, because otherwise you're arguing with your spouse, you're arguing at work, and that may not always have a good outcome. But here you can participate and just come out of it knowing that it has had only a positive impact.
That's like a great introduction to...
Exactly.
Now you have been a regular contestant in speech contests and you have bagged many prizes. So what is your success formula for winning?
So I have always had issues in public speaking. So I'm sitting here in front of so many of you today and I'm talking. That for me is a very big thing. So I see so many young kids here today. I see this young little lady, Fatima, and the confidence that she has to be able to speak in front of people, I never had that. I was a very good student in school, but if the teacher asked some questions in class, I would never raise my hand to give the answer, ever. So for me, it was all about building my self-confidence and building my self-esteem. So when I started attending Toastmaster sessions, I started focusing on that, started grabbing opportunities, becoming greedy to take up table topic spots. And so I thought, if I just harness my ability to speak impromptu, then in any given situation or environment, I will be able to speak, and therefore that would improve my confidence in speaking. That's the mantra that I've used in the speech contest as well. Of course, there is the actual content that you need to prepare, you need to practice to deliver effectively. But for me, it's the way that I have done that has always been through table topics, which has helped me reach that point that I don't feel that nervous anymore. I feel in my mind, what's the worst thing that can go wrong? I will fumble, people will laugh at me, but that's okay. At least I went there and I spoke in front of so many people. So that's all I have really tried to do. And I have had so many contests where I have failed miserably. I have gone on stage and I have blanked, or I've been nervous, or I've not finished my speech in the allocated duration of time. But that's okay. It's all about that experience. And failure is your biggest learning tool. You come back home, you understand what I did wrong, and then you try and make sure that you address that by attending more Toastmasters meetings, more table topics. So it's a cycle.
So like you, I've also been a greedy person for table topics.
I could see that a while earlier.
I was waiting there for last 3 meetings and I haven't got chances. So
wow.
This is the 4th meeting and then I got it.
That is truly amazing, and continue to do that. I tell everybody here, do not hesitate from taking up table topics. Even today, I'm always nervous while attempting a table topic, but when I'm here and I start speaking, then I just let myself go.
Then your forte in public speaking competitions is the international and the evaluation segment. So at what level do you think a contestant has to participate, to prepare to participate in an international segment?
So as I just said, right, it's all about building your confidence through table topics. That is basically your stepping stone, your foundation that you need to work on. If you're not able to work on your impromptu speaking skills, prepared speeches, while you practice and you come and deliver, you're always going to feel the pressures of the stage. You're always going to feel the pressure of those eyes looking at you and reacting to what you have said. Because when you're at home and you're talking to yourself and you're preparing your speech, there's no audience, right? Maybe your audience would be your family members, and your family members tend to be generally very positive, right? You've probably prepared for a few humorous items in your prepared speech, and you think, the audience is going to love it. Imagine you come up to the stage and you start saying those jokes, but the audience just does not react. Imagine what that's going to do to your confidence. And you're thinking, oh my God, now what do I do next? I thought the audience would laugh, but they didn't. Now, shall I say my next joke or shall I not say my next joke? So all of that little confusion that comes into your mind, that is something that table topics would help address over a longer duration of time. So that's my message. Just work on your impromptu speaking skills. Definitely this will come after.
Which of these topics do you think will be mostly appreciated by the audience? Would it be your personal life stories or would it be your internationally recognized topics?
Okay, so I would actually say it's a combination of both. Ideally, what you want to do through your speech is to connect with your audience. How do you connect with your audience? You need to pick a topic that is both internationally acceptable, recognized, understood. But you can only draw that connect even with that topic by bringing some element of your own personality into it. So pick a topic that resonates with everybody, but make it your own. So I would always say, don't just say something that's absolutely personal. If it's something around, okay, nothing comes to mind now, but something very vague, right? You want to pick something that everybody understands. So a combination of the two.
Give everything your own touch.
Exactly. Otherwise, I could just be reading off a Wikipedia page and nobody is going to appreciate that, right? Because I'm just going to sound monotonous. I'm not going to have any humor in it. I'm not going to have anything that I'm adding to that which would make the audience understand, connect, and appreciate that better.
You are also known as one of the best evaluators in Toastmasters, and you have also done your signature evaluation segment. So, what do you think are your key steps and that everyone should follow, that all the evaluators should follow, so that they can get like a good evaluation that is useful for the speaker and that is actually like a winning speech for the evaluation?
Okay. So the first and foremost thing about evaluation is you need to listen. You need to listen and you need to write down very good notes. So from the very beginning till the very end, write down notes. Have a nice blank sheet of paper and create a chart for yourself. And that is something that you need to build, which is unique to you, which you would be able to understand and follow. Different people have different techniques. So for example, my focus is always on the opening, on the body, on the conclusion. Then I go into some more details to understand what is the content, how is the organization of that content, and how is that content delivered. So that's very important to listen. Second, it has to be an honest and a personal feedback or a personal opinion. It's not an opinion. I'm not being a judge. I'm not being a critic. I'm basically trying to be positive, but giving honest feedback. So in essence, I'm being a coach, right? And the third important element of it is always my opinion alone. So I should not in any way try to be unnecessarily intimidating or demeaning to that speaker or be overly positive, right? If somebody has delivered a speech that isn't really up to the mark, I cannot be overly positive as well. A whitewash evaluation, for example. So the speaker goes away thinking that they have done a very good job when they really haven't, and there are areas for them that they need to improve on. Now, all of this being said comes within the framework of what actually are the objectives of that speech. Now, if it is an evaluation in a regular club meeting, obviously it is following some objectives of that particular speech. So what is that objective? So as an evaluator, I need to read that. I need to understand what are the expectations from the speaker. Then second element of that is also I need to give feedback in a way that motivates that person. So I think you would have all heard of the sandwich technique of evaluations. So a sandwich, right? You've got a bread, you've got the patty, and then you've got bread again. So you start off generally acknowledging what that speech was and what impact or effect it had on me, not necessarily on the audience, because it's a personal opinion again. And then I go into addressing some other elements of the positive aspects of the speech, some areas of improvement, but largely I want the speaker to go away feeling motivated, inspired to make those changes in their upcoming speeches. Also, if in a club contest I have seen the evolution of that speaker, I could actually talk about some areas where that speaker has dramatically improved from their previous speeches. So I effectively conclude in a way that the speaker feels motivated to take that home and make those changes. So sandwich technique is very important and largely leaving that person motivated, honest feedback.
So I think everybody, all the evaluators for today, and everybody can use it. So I can already see the evaluator jotting down the notes. Now, have you ever applied? You use the sandwich method for evaluating yourself. So have you used any kind of evaluation method in the daily life?
Absolutely, every single day. So when I have an argument with my husband, that's what I start with. You are fantastic today. Thank you so much for the groceries that you brought home today. But basically, what I actually asked for is that particular brand of toothbrush, not this brand of toothbrush. So can you please ensure that you buy this brand of toothbrush the next time? So to summarize, you did an excellent job, but please pay attention to the details of the list that I shared with you. So that's what I always tell my husband. Second, at work, all the time with my boss, right? Because when you're in a work setting, a lot of times you have team meetings, and in these team meetings, a lot of ideas are discussed and everybody asks you for your opinions. So I stay quiet until the very end. So I practice that art of listening. So listen to what everybody has to say in the room. At the very end, when it comes to my turn to say something, that's when I'll start. Oh, we had an excellent discussion. I think you raised a wonderful point. You raised a wonderful point. But I see some issues with this, with that, because I'm in operations. So I actually head the operations where I work. So for me, it's about I go into the details. And then I summarize. So what I understand therefore is, so absolutely, I think sandwich technique of evaluation is not just in the Toastmasters world, You can take that back home to your personal lives, to your professional lives, to your school lives as well. Maybe you want to give feedback to your tuition teacher sometimes, so you can do that using the sandwich technique.
So that's like the idea of a roundtable conference where everybody gets a chance to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. You hope, right?
Yeah.
Usually everybody would get a chance to speak.
Yeah. Like now, because like everybody in their own opinion might want some change. Like for example, I don't want my parents to like scold me a lot, but then I don't want them to like stop shouting at me. So like that's the kind of opinion like children have to their parents. So like elders also have an opinion to the children. Like that, what is some things that you would like to change between us children?
That is such a good question. Now I don't have any children of my own yet, so it's a hard one. But I'd always say, I think as children we find it. I completely understand your parents are upset with you because you did something wrong, and they scold you, and they may say things at that moment in time, and you'll feel upset. You'll feel sad that why is my mom or dad shouting at me. You may not really understand why they are shouting at you at that point in time, because you feel you are right, what you did was right. Other children don't get shouted in that same way. So what I would really say is, the parents have gone through exactly the same phases that you are going through. So they are wiser. They know what they've done, right? So listen to them. Don't react at that point. Try and listen to them, see what they're saying, follow what they're saying. When that moment has passed and everybody's calm and you have something that you want to say to justify, go at that time. So that otherwise, in the heat of that discussion, your mom and dad are shouting at you, you are also shouting back, your punishment will become bigger. so avoid that. Take that lesser punishment at that time. When everybody's calmer, maybe the next day you're all going for a movie or you're having dinner with your mom and dad, then you bring it up. And then you can actually have a discussion with them if you want to.
Like now, what is like one a moment in your professional life that you'll never forget, like a wonderful moment that like took place in your professional life and then you never forget that, it lies at the bottom of your heart?
Yes, so that has to do with Toastmasters. So when I said I started a corporate chapter, we were having a roundtable discussion with my CEO and the HR director, and all of us employees were sitting in the room, and many employees said, we want more leadership programs in the company. We want to become managers in the future. How do we do that? Can we have some leadership development programs happening within the organization? And so the HR director and the CEO asked us all, what kind of programs would you like to have? Now, having been a Toastmaster already for many years, I raised my hand and I said, why don't we start a Toastmasters club? I didn't expect to have to take on the burden of starting the club, but I made the suggestion anyway. And everybody in the room really liked it. We did a demo meeting in our office and so many people turned up for it. I mean, we had to book a hotel room to have all the people come in from the company to actually see that demo meeting. And once we actually managed to start our own club, I think that was a very proud moment for me, because I felt like I was giving back something that had positively impacted me. So
like whatever comes back goes, like whatever you get, share it with the others.
Yes.
Spread.
Yes.
So this is my last question. So what is the advice that you would like to give to the parents of our Gavaliers who want to manage their work or studies at the same time their Gavaliers program?
So I would say it's about striking the right balance. The Gavel meetings happen once a month, twice a month at the most. It's not much, right? So as I also said a little bit earlier, it's not just about academics. It's not just about school and the different extracurricular activities around school. A very important skill to have today is improving your public speaking skills, learning how to interact with so many different people, breaking those barriers of communicating with people, giving your own opinions, sharing feedback, listening to other people. These are very important life qualities that you get with Gavel clubs and Toastmaster clubs. So as much as academics is important, this is equally important in the real world. So to all parents, I would just say this: please allow your children to do both, and it's just about having the right balance, right?
Hi ma'am, my name is Ritika. So my question for you is, you're in laws, you're staying with your family, and your parents are staying with you. How do you manage Toastmasters and your family together?
Very nice question, and I like the fact that you paid attention to that piece. So I do live with my in-laws. So it's my in-laws, my husband, and my husband's younger brother, who I forgot to mention then. And my family doesn't, my parents don't stay with me. They stay one road away from me. So I think it's so important to have family support when you're involved in something like Toastmasters, because it does take away time that you would spend with them towards spending time with the Toastmasters fraternity. So I think I get that support. They understand how important this is to me in my life, because I've always believed in that same balance. You know, there is work, there is family time, but you also need time for yourself to focus on different extracurricular activities. So, and my family completely supports that. My family, they try and be involved. They come for some of the contests as well whenever possible. So absolutely, I think it's just about in letting your family know what you like, how it's been helpful to you, and definitely once they're convinced, they will give you their support, which is how I.
Hi, my name is Manasa, and my question for you is that you're born in Kerala and brought up in Tamil Nadu and worked in Delhi and Dubai. So in this, which place do you feel comfortable, and which place do you like the most?
Okay, so a little bit of a change in those things you mentioned there. So I was born in Chennai actually, brought up in Delhi for the first 6 years of my life. So I didn't work in Delhi. Then I came here to Dubai, and I've been studying here ever since. And I went to do my bachelor's in India for a brief moment of time. So for me, Dubai is home. I don't really have that connect with Chennai, with Delhi, or in Kerala as well. So Dubai is home. So for me, anybody asks me where I'm from, I'll say I'm from Dubai.
If you were a Gavel Club member, how would that have changed your journey as a communicator?
So Gavel Club member, as part of my summer camp back in 2003, I think, if my memory serves me correctly. But I can definitely say, if I was a Gavel Club member for a longer duration, or probably a member of a club like this, then I would be as confident as you are, which I don't think I still am. So I would be as confident as you are. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I hope that everybody who just now saw, all the audience had something to take away from this meeting. And thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Please subscribe to Positive Media channel for future updates. Also, click the bell icon for timely updates. Do share our YouTube link among your friends and family.